Today's quote comes from Sukraj Dillon. Sukraj S. Dillon is the author of today's quote. I had to look up the pronunciation of that. And I may still have gotten it wrong. Apologies. But I love the quote because it says, always believe that something wonderful is about to happen. I mean, if you get that into your spirit today, if you allow that to permeate every aspect of your life, I'm actually skipping towards the end by saying this, it will change your outlook. So let me say it again. Always believe that something wonderful is about to happen. And so here's what I have to ask you. I don't want to, but I have to ask you, what's your definition of wonderful? What's your definition of wonderful? Merriam-Webster says, wonderful is defined as inspiring delight, pleasure, or admiration. Extremely good, marvelous. Inspiring delight, pleasure, or admiration. Extremely good, marvelous. Did you know that we each get to decide and categorize experiences as either wonderful, extraordinary, or normal, mundane, and given? Did you know that each of us get to take the things that happen in our lives and categorize them in whatever way we deem fit? And how we categorize them tells us, it gives us insight into our perspectives for how we experience the world around us. An elder stood to prepare the congregation for prayer by saying this phrase: God is working miracles every day. We simply file them under normal. We categorize them as given. We put them in the section called mundane, even though it's a miracle.
Lord, it's a miracle.
What are the wonderful things happening for you right now that you've categorized as normal? Do you have the use of your left toe, your left foot, second toe? Can you wiggle it? Can you wiggle that? That's hard to do. That, not the big toe, not the third toe. I'm talking about that second toe. That's if you have use of your left foot, second toe, if you can wiggle it, my friends, that's wonderful. The rhythmic and moment by moment exhale and inhale you're doing without even thinking about it. Fam, that's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. The fact that you woke up this morning when others didn't. Like, if you take it, your alarm clock, the one that quote unquote woke you up this morning, and you put it in the cemetery and allow it to go off, does anyone get up? Now, if somebody does, you might want to run.
He's a zombie.
But the fact that no one gets up, let me say this to you. That's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. What does Marion say? Marion says, inspiring delight, pleasure, or admiration, extremely good, marvelous. Listen, those things that we take for granted, those things, I mean, I got my elbow, it works. And when I bend my arm like this, whatever, I don't know. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't have a clue what's happening from brain to elbow. That when I decide to move it, it actually happens. I'm just here to tell you that that's wonderful. Sukraj S. Dillon shares with us that always we should develop a habit of believing that something wonderful is about to happen. And in order for us to really dive into that, I wanted to ensure that we are not taking some of the normal, everyday things for granted. I wanted to challenge your thinking in terms of the fact that those things can be wonderful too. Now, here's another question. What's the difference between believing something good is about to happen and something good can happen? So, I'm believing something good is about to happen, or I'm believing that something good can happen. Because Sukraj does not say that something wonderful it can happen. He says something wonderful is about to happen. What's the difference between can and about? Can says it's a possibility, one of many possibilities that can happen. Yeah, it can happen. It could happen. I could win the lottery. I could, get the promotion. It can happen. It's possible. It's possible. She can say yes to the date, or she could say yes to marrying me. I could get picked for the part. I could get the brand deal. It's a possibility. It can happen. Can says it's a possibility. But I don't think that's what Sukraj wants us to really stay in today, because he didn't use the word can. He used about. Because about to says it's around the corner. It's around the corner. And here's my most favorite part. And I'm looking for it. I'm expecting it. You ever seen somebody who it's like, well, I know that they're about to come in the door, so where are they? Where are they? They start looking around because they're expecting it. About to is another level. I believe that many positive people stay in the realm of can. It can happen. Oh yeah. I can start a business, or I could stay here working. It's a possibility. But when you say I'm about to launch this campaign, I'm about to start my channel, I'm about to go live, it's around the corner. You're looking for it. You're expecting it. You are preparing for it. Have you ever let yourself dream, y'all? Like,
sometimes I have dreams so clear.
I'm talking about really get carried away and allow your mind to forget best case scenario. Leave that alone. You leave the possible behind and you enter the realm of crazy, like stupid, spectacular, and wonderful. Have you allowed yourself to go there? What if you lived expecting those things to happen? I mean, I'm excited for you. How would you get up each morning knowing that that's what, like, man, that thing I've been dreaming of, it's around the corner. Like, I could bump into it right now. How would you perform your daily tasks? How would you approach each day knowing supernatural was about to happen? It's around the corner. How would you live in the about to of life? I always have to make sure that it's even, right? Because you can live in the can and about to of life for the negative as well. You can be looking around the corner for the worst case scenario, for your deepest, darkest fears to be realized and materialized and come to life. How will you live expecting that those kinds of things are about to happen too? When I was 15 years old, my dad bought a car for my older brother. He, of course, is 16. In Florida, we do this at 16, y'all. We don't play around. We drive, okay? I've been driving since I was 11. But my dad bought a car for my older brother. It was a 84 Nissan Maxima, and it was brown. And, we loved that car. Datsun Nissan Maxima, 84. And we used to just wash the car for no good reason. I was 14 going on 15. Andrew had this car, and it's just like, oh man, he's got a car. Like, the car was just everything. And I remember my dad, because we had this car, a neighbor of ours saw that we had this car. He said to my dad, hey, I've got a similar car to yours, and I have a spare engine with the car. He said, so I'll sell it to you just so you have a spare engine for the car you have. And my dad was like, okay. He wanted the engine. And the guy was like, well, I'll throw in the car because the car is pretty messed up. Maybe you might be able to take some parts off of it, whatever. So my dad gets another car. It's an 82 Nissan Maxima. We put that in the driveway. There's an engine in the joint, and he takes that to the shop, and we have that sitting somewhere just in case something happens. So that other car was gray. It wasn't quite gray. It was actually kind of a smoke color. In fact, we called it Smokey.
Bandit, I've got a smoky report for you. Come on.
That was the name of the car. So my brother's car is there. He called his car Nicky. Again, I can't give you the story there. That's his story. But this other car was there just sitting in the driveway of our house, and it did nothing. It did not drive. It could not drive. The engine parts were missing. I mean, literally, nothing was bolted down. There was no seats in the car. There was no speakers, radios. Nothing was. The car was just for parts. And so one day my dad comes home and he sees me washing the car. He's like, no, Kirk, that car is not, that car's for parts. I was like, well, I just wanted to kind of clean it up a little bit. And he was like, oh, okay. All right. He just left me alone. Another day he comes, he finds me, putting carpet in the car. I want y'all to understand the car was completely messed up. I put carpet from the gas pedal and brake all the way to the back seat.
This is the magic carpet.
And it kind of pinned it under there. I'm talking about real carpet for the house. I'm not talking about car carpet. He comes, he finds me bolting the seats in. I had found some bolts at the junkyard, and I bolted those seats in. My brother had a car, so I get a chance to kind of go places. And he wanted to go to those places too because we had the same car. He had the same car. Found some bolts for the seats. I found an old radio. I put that in with the tape deck on it. I went to AutoZone and got some speakers, and I put those in and wired them up to the head unit. I would be sitting in the car. I actually connected a car battery just to be able to try and turn on the radio. And I could listen to 93.3 to, oh my goodness, this was in Tampa Bay, Florida. But no, I kept on putting things in the car. My dad kept on telling me that this car is not a car that we're intent to drive. I put a steering wheel cover on, y'all. I grabbed a Jamaican flag and I put it over the rear view mirror, which I had to buy because there was no rear view mirror in the car. I had to buy it, put the little glue thing on the window, set it there and hold it for like 10 minutes, and then I could put my flag on it. I had to basically build this car. And then one day I came home from school and I found my dad working on the car. Do you know that car became my car? Do you know that car took me through high school? That car that they said would not be anything because of my actions, because of my expectations, they caused me to prepare the car for when I would drive it, even though that was never the plan. Even though that they bought the car for parts. But because my expectation caused me to prepare the car, they decided we're going to help him set it up. The story is told of two farmers that desperately needed rain. Both of them prayed for rain. And one went and started preparing his field. Which one do you really think expected the rain? Expectation causes a person to prepare. If you want to demonstrate you believe wonderful is about to happen, show me what you're preparing for. Show us what you're preparing for. Are your bags packed? Do you believe the promotion is in your future? Are you putting aside space because your community group is about to blow up? Do you have capacity in your live stream? If thousands show up, are you preparing for that? Are you preparing for no one to show up? Show me what you're preparing for. And that'll tell me what you are expecting. I challenge you to take your guards down, to tear down the walls that fear and disappointment have erected around your heart, and allow today's quote to get deep down inside and watch it impact your life. Always believe that something wonderful is about to happen. And that, my friends, is your morning motivation.